Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, it's our monthly conversation with Dr. Roger McEowen from the Washburn School of Law. We'll talk about a landmark decision made by SCOTUS and what that could mean for agriculture. We'll also have features from the Kansas Soybean Commission, Kansas Department of Agriculture, and Kansas Grain Sorghum, along with a weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association and market information from Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, kfb.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat. Online at kswheat.com. Well, in agriculture news, Kansas producers planted 5.4 million acres of corn for all purposes. That according to USDA's National Ag Statistics Service. This down 5% from a year ago. The total acres, 94% of that planted with biotech varieties, up 1 point from last year. The area to be harvested for grain estimated 5.05 million acres, down 6% from a year ago. Soybean planted acreage estimated 5 million acres, up 3% from last year. Now, of these, 96% planted with genetically modified herbicide-resistant seed. That is unchanged from a year ago. Now, producers expect to harvest 4.95 million acres, up 3% from a year ago. Now, sorghum planted for all purposes, estimated 3.1 million acres. That's down 14% from the previous year. Area to be harvested for grain, estimated 2.9 million acres, down 15% from a year ago. Now, the oil sunflowers planted about 37,000 acres, up 48% from a year ago. And harvested area looks to be about 35,000 acres, up 46% from a year ago. Those non-oil or confection sunflowers, estimated about 15,000 acres planted, up 50% from the previous year. Harvest area, about 14,000 acres, up 56% from 2021. Oats, about 110,000 acres. That's down 4% this year from what we saw last year. Seems like there's a lot more this year. Area to be harvested, about 21,000 acres, up 5% from a year ago. Barley, 13,000 acres in Kansas, down 7% from a year ago. And the area to be harvested of about 4,000 acres. Those unchanged from a year ago. Now, where's cotton in Kansas? Well, cotton acreage planted about 130,000 acres, up 18% from a year ago. The winter wheat planted in the fall of last year totaled 7.4 million acres, up a percent from the previous year. Harvested area expected to be 6.85 million acres, down 2% from a year ago, and that is just about wrapping up all over the state. Well, late last month, the EPA announced it is reopening the finalized registration of atrazine, putting the key crop protection tool and today's carbon smart farming practices at risk. Now, this according to the Triazine Network, which is a coalition of agriculture groups been involved in regulatory issues related to triazine herbicides going back to 1995. At issue is the aquatic ecosystem concentration equivalent level of concern, or CLOC. Now, this opened the door for EPA to shift some tactics and alter the decision. EPA has now proposed an ultra-low CLOC of just 3.4 parts per billion. That would have devastating impact to farmers, according to Greg Krissick, the CEO of Kansas Corn. He said, "Say growers are frustrated is an understatement. The science," he said, "has not been changed since 2020, when EPA set the level of concern at 15 parts per billion." He says EPA is playing politics with the decision and should adopt the ultra-low level of concern. He said that the Kansas Corn and the Triazine Network is urging farmers to oppose this EPA regulatory trick and submit comments to EPA during a 60-day comment period that will open up very soon throughout the summertime. That's Ag News. Dr. Roger McEowen from Washburn will join us in just a moment.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the soybean checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. And joining us now is Dr. Roger McEowen from the Washburn School of Law. He is a ag and tax law specialist. We always join him every month. So, Dr. McEowen, thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you, Ken.
Okay, just a couple of days ago, as the Supreme Court wrapped up this session, a big, almost monumental case was decided, and that could have implications rippling throughout. So talk about it and kind of where we go from here.
Yeah, monumental decision, and we're not talking about the abortion decision. We're talking about another one that came out the following week, the last day of the session that they released opinions on. And this case really is several years in the making. It goes back to when President Obama said early on, I think as he was running for president, that he would put coal plants out of business. And from that, eventually, in about 2015, EPA created what's known as the Clean Power Plan rule. It's not an act of Congress. It was created by the administrative agency. And that addressed carbon dioxide emissions from coal and natural gas power plants. And the EPA cited authority to do this that they claimed was granted to it under the Clean Air Act. And so their plan, this Clean Power Plan, set rules for burning coal more cleanly, but then it also involved a regulatory shift in energy production from coal and natural gas electricity generation to wind and solar. And the EPA projected that electricity generation from coal would drop about 30% by 2030 from 2014. And they also noted that there weren't any existing coal plants that could achieve the new standard without shifting to wind and solar, which would also trigger billions of dollars in compliance costs and increase consumers' electricity prices and require dozens of coal plants to close and also eliminate tens of thousands of jobs.
So with this, Supreme Court basically said agencies, administration, you have to follow what Congress wants to have done.
Yeah, that's right. The basic issue, Ken, was whether the EPA had the authority to shift the manner of energy production in the United States by regulation. And the court said that it did not, because Congress had not specifically stated in the Clean Air Act that EPA could enact a policy change by regulation. The court said the EPA could regulate equipment upgrades. They could regulate the improvement of operating practices, but not shift the entire means of U.S. energy production. That's up to Congress to do that. It's a policy issue to be decided by elected representatives. So they said policy decisions are up to the people through their elected representatives, not bureaucratic, answerable to no one administrative agencies.
We're talking with Dr. Roger McEowen for the Washburn School of Law. Let's take a break. We'll continue the conversation about this ruling that came down from the Supreme Court. We'll do that in just a moment. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
And Dr. Roger McEowen from the Washburn School of Law is joining us for our monthly conversation with him. And truly, this one is an agriculture in the courtroom. So with this decision coming down from the Supreme Court of the U.S., and who can decide on energy policy, what does this mean for agriculture moving forward?
Well, I think it means a lot. This is something actually in ag we've been waiting on for many, many years. The regulation of agriculture has increased substantially since the 1970s. And I think the decision certainly lays the groundwork for further limitations on regulations from all administrative agencies, USDA, EPA, Corps of Engineers, Bureau of Land Management. We can just think of all the regulatory agencies that are out there that involve agriculture one way or another. And it's going to limit their ability to regulate in the absence of explicit congressional authorization when a major issue is involved, such as, for example, waters of the United States. So it's this major question doctrine that is an exception to the general rule of deference that the courts would normally give administrative agencies, known as Chevron deference. This is an exception to that. Now, when an agency gets into the issue or issues of major national significance, the court says they don't have the authority to regulate. It's up to the Congress to make the policy decisions, not administrative agencies. And that's a big deal for agriculture.
So this could mean things like waters of the U.S. and some of these other big issues may now come back to where more favorable for agriculture. We don't go through all these processes because of this ruling. This ruling has much broader implications than simply energy policy.
Exactly. And it doesn't mean that agriculture won't be regulated. What it means is politicians have to make policy decisions. They're the ones that are subject to being voted out of office, not bureaucratic agencies. And that's the constitutional way that things are to be done in a democratic republic or Republican democracy, not just this fiat one-size-fits-all regulation made by unelected bureaucrats. That's the way the system is supposed to work. Some of us have been arguing this point for many, many years, that there's just too much deference that's given to administrative agencies, and that's not what the Constitution provides. And when you get into policy, policy is up to legislators. It's not up to administrative agencies.
Well, Dr. McEowen, there's other issues. I'm sure we'll talk about that now as SCOTUS is on break till October. But if folks want to learn more about this, your thoughts on these and other decisions, how can they learn more?
A lot of these I discuss on my website, and that's washburnlaw.edu/Walter. Also, we share a lot of that information with K-State on the Ag Manager website through the Ag Econ department.
Well, Dr. McEowen, as always, appreciate it. We'll talk with you next month.
Thank you, Ken.
Dr. Roger McEowen from the Washburn School of Law. He is a agriculture and tax law specialist. Stay with us. We'll have more in just a moment.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Imagine turning soybean oil, used cooking oils, and waste animal fats into fuel so amazing it drives U.S. jobs and our economy forward. Learn more about biodiesel at americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
You know what they say, soy is pork's best friend, or something like that. The relationship between these commodities is definitely valuable. The U.S. Meat Export Federation released its Exporting Kansas Soybeans Through U.S. Pork report for 2021, which details the impact pork exports have on the value of soybeans in Kansas. In 2021, pork exported from the U.S. consumed 423,000 bushels of Kansas soybeans. The market value of pork exports to Kansas soybeans, calculated by that bushel number multiplied by the average annual soybean price, came to $5.6 million. The estimated economic impact determined that 12.6% of the bushel value, or about $1.65 of the average $13.13 price, came from pork consumption. Taking this value further, pork's contribution is $65.18 per acre of Kansas soybeans. Taking a look at U.S. pork exports as a whole, 2021 set a few records. Of the total U.S. pork supply, 29.4% was exported, and the value of those exports reached $62.86 per head slaughtered. This is a big win for U.S. soy, as pork exports account for the fastest growing category of soybean meal usage for 6 years running. You can read more about the relationship between pork exports and Kansas soybeans on the Animal Agriculture page at kansassoybeans.org or by visiting usmef.org. Animal agriculture as a category continues to be the #1 customer of U.S. soy, with 97% of soybean meal being consumed by livestock. Supporting this category of soybean consumption is core to the checkoff's work.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Kansas agriculture has a beauty like no other, and we love to acknowledge and appreciate that beauty whenever we talk about Kansas ag. That beauty can't be fully captured with a camera, but we encourage you to try in the Kansas Department of Agriculture's annual photo contest. I'm Heather Lansdowne, Director of Communications at KDA, and I'm excited to share this year's photo contest categories, which were selected to promote different aspects of Kansas agriculture. The 4 categories are Farm to Fork, Innovation in Agriculture, Four-Legged Friends, and Ad Astra. These categories allow you to showcase Kansas agriculture in many ways: the products of our labor that feed our local communities, the scientific and technological advancements that increase efficiency and value, the many animals that play a role in family-run farms and ranches, and the overall beauty of Kansas agriculture. In addition, there's a separate youth division for young photographers under age 19. And for the second year of video category, we'll showcase harvest videos, drone footage, or other short clips of under 30 seconds that showcase Kansas agriculture. Entries for the photo contest are being accepted from now through August 22nd. In September, all the entries will be posted on KDA's social media sites. Winners of the KDA photo contest will be chosen by votes on social media platforms and by leaders in Kansas agriculture. Winners in each category will receive prizes, and a few of the top photographs will be selected to be displayed in the KDA building in Manhattan. Guidelines for the contest can be found at agriculture.ks.gov/photocontest. I look forward to seeing this year's entries and to finding ways KDA can share the photos all year long as we tell the story of Kansas agriculture.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
I'm Debbie Lyons Blythe, and I'm a cattle rancher in the Flint Hills of Kansas. American beef is the most sustainable beef in the world. All cattle are raised for most of their life on grasslands. Some cattle then, before they enter the food chain, will end up in a feed yard where they are grain finished. In the feed yard, cattle actually get to eat a diet balanced by a nutritionist. We incorporate a lot of things into that diet, but one of the key things is we do feed corn because that's carbohydrates and it helps to lay down condition. But we also are able to feed things that we cannot eat. And those things are byproducts from various regions. I'm sure you've all heard of ethanol. There's a byproduct from ethanol that used to go to the landfill. It's called dried distillers grains, and cattle, we found, can eat that. So instead of going to a landfill to emit methane, we are now feeding that to cattle in a balanced ration so that they can utilize that and turn it into great protein. There's a few other byproducts that we use in different areas, and just a few examples might be in Idaho, where we grow potatoes, they'll use potato peelings in their diet. In the southeast, where they grow lots of vegetables, they will compost the vegetable trimmings and balance that into a cattle diet. So the feed yard is an excellent location for us to be able to manage very carefully the care of these cattle. In addition, the waste that is produced in a feed yard can be used to fertilize the ground around the feed yard. So we're actually so efficient in the American feed yards that we not only can feed things that we can't eat, but utilize the waste that comes from those animals. And those are the reasons why American beef is the most sustainable in the world.
To learn more about sustainability on the farm, visit KansasLivingMagazine.com.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
KLA joined with the National Cattlemen's Beef Association in filing comments on the Securities and Exchange Commission's controversial greenhouse gas disclosure rule. The rule would require publicly traded companies to report direct emissions in addition to those from all segments of their supply chain. The rule's broad scope would burden cattle producers and require the reporting of farm or ranch level emissions data. There currently is no way to accurately measure this data on the individual level, and estimates would expose producers to legal liability. The comments filed with SEC call for the agency to limit the scope of the rule to only direct emissions from publicly traded companies. NCBA Environmental Counsel Mary Thomas Hart said cattle farmers and ranchers are America's original conservationists, and thanks to decades of innovation and continuous improvement, cattle production accounts for just 2% of overall U.S. greenhouse gas emissions. She said cattle producers have a proven track record of sustainable practices and should not be penalized with overreaching rules from an agency with no expertise in agriculture. Additionally, industry-wide emissions data already is collected through the Environmental Protection Agency's annual greenhouse gas inventory and USDA life cycle assessments. In the submitted comments, KLA and NCBA urge the SEC to rely on these existing metrics rather than placing a burdensome mandate on individual cattle producers.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the soybean checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Good morning, I'm Darren Van Vactor with Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom. The market's been moving after last week's planted acreage and ending stocks report. Really, planted acreage came in as expected for corn and under for beans. Ending stocks for corn and beans has grown a little, and the report lacked any major wheat news. You wouldn't know for the market's reaction though. New crop corn has fallen below $6, beans are hovering around $13, and we've seen a 7 back in front of wheat for the first time in 5 months. So what gives? Looking to the charts, the Fed's rate increase and hawkish outlook sent the stock markets tumbling and the US dollar soaring. In turn, this prompted long commodity liquidation by the funds. The grains weren't alone, as we've seen lumber, copper, cotton, and most recently crude succumb to the pressure. The market seems to be oversold for this time of year, so what could stop the slide? Once the funds have finished their repositioning, the fundamentals will matter more. So eyes will be on next week's latest WASDE report, and triple-digit temps during pollination could garner attention as well. At the end of the day, the market can be humbling, but it does afford us opportunities. If you'd like to discuss some ways to take advantage, please give us a call at 888-452-8751. I'm Darren Van Vactor. Be safe and have a great week.
That's our show this week. Be social with us at kansasagreport.net or on our social media channels. You can find more ag information throughout the week on KBUF Radio in Garden City and the many stations that carry programming from the Ag Network. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Are you looking for Medicare supplement insurance plans? Now is a good time to look at your options with Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans. A Medicare supplement insurance plan can help cover certain out-of-pocket expenses Medicare doesn't cover. Things like deductibles, co-insurance, and certain limitations that can be costly in the event of an accident or illness. With Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans, you have options to Medicare supplement insurance plans with 4 levels of affordable coverage and service from an organization known for its commitment serving Kansans. We encourage you to compare our rates. For more information and to get a quote, contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you or visit kfbhealthplans.com. Medicare supplements insured by Members Health Insurance Company, Columbia, Tennessee. Not connected with or endorsed by the U.S. or state government.